Nice shirt.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Today we're continuing on with setbacks and talking about specifically sleep.
Yeah.
So you've done some homework on this, and sleep is one of those things. It's like, yeah, okay, if I don't get enough sleep, maybe I'm grumpy, maybe I don't want to work out, but it actually goes much deeper than that.
Yeah. It obviously mood, as you discussed, but also, brain processing is one that people don't quite understand. Studies have shown that if you deprive yourself of sleep for like 7 days by just a few hours per day, it has the equivalent of actually being on alcohol, like drunk. So your brain processing slows down, your decision-making capabilities.
How do I do that again?
your decision-making capabilities. That's just like, all right, I can put in 4 hours at work, or I can put in, 8 hours at work, but I put in 4 hours of really good concentration if I have good, proper sleep. So more doesn't necessarily mean better, if you're following me on this whole thing.
Right.
So getting the proper amount of sleep can make you work more efficiently.
They proved this in like clinical studies.
Yes, it can make you work more efficiently, right? But people are especially in this day and age, I gotta accomplish, I gotta do more work, and are you really getting more work done?
Right.
So brain processing, tissue repair. Obviously, when you go to sleep, everything goes into repair mode. Your immune system gets a boost by proper sleep. The one that's probably really important to our audience is weight loss, right? And studies have shown that when you don't get enough sleep, weight loss reduction is decreased by 55%.
So go into that a little bit. You were sharing that with me. So they did 2 test groups.
Yes.
Right? And over 14 days.
Yes.
One test group got the proper amount of sleep. The other test group, they deprived
by like an hour a day.
Hour or two a day.
Yeah, the weight loss in the control group, which was obviously the group that got the proper amount of sleep, their weight loss reduction was 55% more. More. Yeah. Than the sleep deprived group.
I mean, you're talking on 10 pounds. One group lost, say, 10 pounds. The other lost 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's people that have night jobs. They tend to not get the proper amount of sleep. You can probably do the math. I'll sleep during the day, but is it really good sleep? I mean, that's a whole nother potential snack cast of, like, should we, sleeping during the day versus sleeping at night, And then the other big question is, can you catch up, right? People are like, I'll catch up on the weekends. There's 2 types of what they call sleep debt. One is acute sleep debt. That is like short, powerful, I am falling behind the curve, right? And then you have your chronic, which is your long, you're a nurse and you work the night shift at the hospital and you're working on your 20. There's no catching up from that. That's a damage that you've done to your system the whole way through.
So when you say no catching up, so you're saying that when if you work a 20-hour shift, you should set an alarm and make sure you get up after your normal, regular 8-9 hours, whatever that might be. Don't push into the 10, 11, 12 hours.
No, you can actually catch up. It's been proven that you can catch up. Like, if you fell behind for 7 days in a row, and then on day 8 and 9, you over-recover, you can get caught up. And their studies have shown that your decision-making, your brain processing, everything starts to improve fairly dramatically. If you just get normal sleep on day 8 and 9, it's not the same effect. So there is a catch-up for acute sleep problems.
I'm obviously not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. No, but my kids, they'll go off to church camp, right? And
won't get any sleep for 3-4 days.
The really fun one, I think it's called the weekend, and it's 3 days, 2 nights, and they literally barely sleep. They're up pranking each other, wrestling. They're doing. And man, when they get home about noon on Sunday and they're out and we wake them to eat some dinner and they're back out
Right.
all the way till the next morning.
Right.
I mean, it's almost 18 hours of straight sleep.
And it'll take probably the next night of them going to bed early in order for them to get, truly caught up and start to feel better. I mean, like I said, it's almost the same as alcohol,
Yeah. Well, and you talk about the brain function. There are studies that show that on a keto diet or a carnivore diet, when your brain is feeding off of fats instead of sugars, that the brain is more efficient. I'd be curious if there's some correlation to a proper amount of sleep changing for those who eat low sugar diets,
right?
Or does it make them like super efficient?
Right.
Where does it if you can couple the two? Is there an exponential effect? I don't know the answer. Just
Yeah, I obviously sleep's important, and it's one of those things that you just can't do without. I mean, you can't. You'll die from lack of sleep. So yeah, I mean, I get your proper amount of sleep, and don't binge Netflix or do whatever. I mean, it's hard to get caught up.
Do you have any advice or recommendations on how to figure out the proper amount? I think some people it's 10 hours. I think other people it's 5.
Yeah.
How do you figure out your window?
I think it's if you were to go to bed and you were to naturally wake up, what would that be?
With no stimulants,
no alcohol, alarm, no nothing.
Marijuana gummies.
No, I've had an extremely stressful week. If I were to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night, what time would I naturally wake up? Like, probably the time to answer that is when you're on vacation, right? Although, guess what people do when they're on vacation, right? You drink, you stay up too late with your kids.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, if you were to go to bed at a regular time and you were not sleep deprived and you woke up naturally, what time would you wake up?
Okay. That'd be interesting to I don't know that I could get it done. Between the dog, the wife, the kids, the neighbor's dog.
I can tell you that I am extremely moody, extremely temperamental, quick to anger, all of these things.
Often.
When thanks. When I don't get enough sleep. And that should tell you right then and there that there's a problem.
Yeah. All right, we got to wrap it up.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Let's wrap up the series tomorrow.
Okay. Whatever you'd like. Are you grumpy today? Did you get enough sleep last night?
I got enough.
Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, snackcast@yes.fit. We appreciate you tuning in.
Stay moving.
See ya.